Serious, if you had taken your life 1 year ago, what beautiful things would you have had missed out on?
Honestly, I tried to take my life a little over a year, very nearly did too. Since I've been trying to look for reasons to enjoy it and to stay, but I'm coming up short. I wouldn't have missed much beyond a year and some change spent worried about finances and feeling alone, which is what I was aiming to escape. I'm hanging in cause I know I shouldn't leave though.
Being here the next month when my 4-year-old would have a massive brain tumor removed, found completely out of the blue, and was killing him. He had 2 weeks to live had it not been detected, to be at his side, nurse him and hold him for weeks and months, and still to make sure his rehabilitation is going well. To generally hold shit at home together for my other kids as best I can. To be a fucking mummy to my kids who need me right here. That is all. Literally just a year of loneliness, a trip to New York, my first alcoholic beverage, getting a pet cat, finishing my first year of college, making through the fire and flames in WarioWare DIY, and other little things.
Nothing. If I had said fuck it, and shot myself with my old .38 1 year ago on January 30, 2019, I would have missed losing my job during February 2019. 5 months of growing stress and depression trying to find a job. Selling shit I didn't want to sell because I needed the money to keep my Jeep for when I got a job. A 5-month Win10 migration contract for a rehab center. The last 3 months of that contract trying to find another job. Dealing with a bullshit 3-day CompuCom contract. Once again having no job and submitting 3 to 10 job applications a day. Seriously, only thing really keeping me going sometimes is the knowledge that my little sister graduates college in 13 weeks and I'll be fucking damned if I miss it because of something I had control over.
An old friend of mine committed suicide last March. I feel shitty for admitting that I had this stupid thought, but I thought of how she would never know how Game of Thrones ended.
Nothing. Sure, there's fun stuff that's happened, and happy moments, but nothing that has made me say, I'm so glad I lived for this.
Giving birth to my son, and watching my daughter be the coolest big sister ever, as well as just further growing into her own person. My husband's first trip to the beach, that he remembers, he went when he was an infant. He stood in the waves and just marveled at his smallness for the longest time. Me growing as a person, becoming more confident and less likely to give in to my occasionally crippling social anxiety.
Finally getting promoted into management after 5 years of trying and getting rejected.
Absolutely nothing, lol. Last year was hell.
Promotion for my dream job. Moving away from home. Meeting my dream girl.
Absolutely nothing.
I will have missed nothing. I'm sad. Very sad.
King Crimson. I didn't discover them because of JoJo, and I know more than the debut.
I guess it would be adopting my cat. I haven't much to be glad about, but that's fine, I guess.
I created a perfect recipe for lemon caper chicken thighs with couscous. Also, I would have missed out on all the amazing projects I've worked on at work, getting to spend time with my grandma, meeting my friend's kid, experiencing some very fun sexual experiences, and hanging with my perfectly imperfect cat. Other than that, the world feels pretty dim ATM, but as the question implies, good is in the little things.
This stray cat outside our house. She climbs on me. Sits in my lap. Licks my hand. She used to sit under a car in the beginning. She was scared of humans. I had to bend down and stretch my hands for long times to make friends with her.
Absolutely nothing. I still want to die.
This made me more depressed because life got worse.
Relevant. A little over a year ago I was suicidal. I would have missed out on an awesome new job, and making cool music with 3 other awesome dudes.
3 to 5 years ago I would have said nothing. 1.5 years post-separation, divorce, and wow, what nice things are happening. I have discovered confidence. Found that I can make friends. Having fun. Engaging in meaningful, pro-social activities. I actually have belly laughs again. Don't get me wrong, I would not recommend divorce. It is awful. But the last 6 months or so has reinvigorated my life.
Last year sucked and a month ago I really wanted to end it. In December I started antidepressants for the first time, felt less anxious and started leaving the house. Now me and a girl have our third date lined up and I'm actually giddy. So that's something.
My pets, being back with my family after a toxic home life, and actually feeling happy again. Background cause I don't know where else to get this out at. In early 2018 my life shattered. My long-term boyfriend was coming to see me as I had exciting news. He crashed his car an hour into his trip. He was declared brain dead and a week later his mother pulled the cord. I didn't get to see him. The grief took the good news I had. I was 12 weeks pregnant, I miscarried 2 weeks after his death. No one knew. My roommates bitched at me for not helping but I was in too much pain and explaining felt impossible. They left me in hell till November 2019. When my family got them kicked out and they moved in. I hope there is an afterlife that he is playing with our child. Me quitting smoking, finding out the girl of my dreams feels the same way about me, and starting pilot training.
Coincidentally I did try that 13 months ago and honestly, nothing really. Still pretty lonely and depressed and feel like I'm going nowhere despite efforts put in.
Absolutely nothing.
Unidentified brain tumor and subsequent epilepsy? Frown. They think it's a symptomatic cavernoma, but there's a good chance it's something more serious. Hasn't helped with my depression, but who knows what this year will bring.
More depression.
Nothing comes to mind. None? Well, maybe switching to a better job and a holiday in Poland.
Finding a tiny kitten in a dumpster and watching him grow up into the sweetest kitty. Finally getting a real job with an awesome boss, taking my boyfriend to my favorite place for a week, seeing my best friend's mom kick cancer's ass. The list goes on. Wow.
Oh, this is so odd. Last year at almost exactly this time. Maybe to the day, I'd rather not think about it too hard, I really was suicidal. I have been depressed before, this particular episode has been several years long, and I have lingering thoughts before of suicide or just welcoming the idea that I could die. But last year was the first time I was really at peace with the idea that, on balance, it was the best thing for everyone concerned. I didn't do it, because it's just not something a grown-up lady does, but boy did I think it would be a good idea. So this could be a good exercise for me. Okay. I can't really come up with anything from this past year that was worth living for per se. However, I will say this. I still think there is a possibility that this can all improve, so staying alive this year is a necessary stepping stone to getting to the point. That is what I would have missed, the chance that things could get better.
I would have missed the birth of my baby girl as well as watching my son turn into such an awesome little toddler. My dad killed himself when I was 14. My brother did the same about 4 yoctoseconds ago and my mom committed suicide before my 7-month-old daughter was born. I have been close to following the family tradition of suicide a bunch of times, hello postpartum depression, but I really don't want my kids to go through what I've been through. Suicide hotlines have been my lifesaver, hanging out with all my great friends.
Unfortunately nothing. I graduated but over 6 months later no job.
This hits home because last year was the hardest years of my entire life and I was very close to taking it several times in moments of great weakness. If I had taken my life last year, I couldn't have the experience of giving birth to my baby daughter. Feeling her kick inside me now, gives me a sense of purpose that I didn't have a year ago. She may have been unplanned, but to me her life is a gift I was given to protect. And I would protect it with my own life if I must.
I would have missed out on our new kitten we rescued from our yard. If it were not for me, we may never have rescued her, and she may not have survived, as she was too young to be out on her own. More lives depend on you than just your own. And yes, we did wait to see if the mother would come by, but she never did. Also, the kitten did not belong to any of the local strays.
Sadly, not a lot. Hard truth but truth nonetheless.
Literally nothing good has happened to me in the last year. I had 2 hit-and-runs, one minor a relative fixed for me. The next pretty awful that undid the previous fix. Also, that was a scary experience. I was afraid another car would hit us as the roads were very icy. I was dumped by someone for his ex. My retail job is kind of embarrassing. And this week my front tooth chipped. I went to the dentist for an emergency appointment and I need a root canal, chrome for $700 that I don't have. That or I have to pull out my front tooth. Life could be so much better.
If it had worked, I'd have missed reconnecting with my best friend and falling in love with her, recovering from my eating disorder, opening up about the abuse I suffered from my dad to my mom. She had no idea, and the season finale of Arrow, which I literally sobbed through. Nothing. Everything went downhill this year. Would have been better off.
My dog, lots of new friends,
Being in a wheelchair,
the birth of my second daughter,
moving into a new house and getting a few raises at a job where I'm treated poorly, seeing my sister graduate from university, signing my first contract for a student apartment, meeting my friend group at uni, and many moments with my family and friends that I wouldn't have missed for the world.
A weirdly incredible friendship with a girl. There's an attraction there, but it's a long-distance thing. The achievement of short-term goals I set for myself 4 years ago. And a general sense of happiness and lack of depressive episodes, that has lasted through the same period of heavy work stress that last year had me on the brink. I would have missed the best night of my life and the first time I fell in love.
My little brother being born.
Meeting the love of my life, a beautiful Catholic funeral, the celebration of an amazing woman, and so much more.
Winning several hackathons on my college, which resulted on me being noticed by the president of the ACM student chapter in my college, who then asked me to join the group as a secretary and first female president starting next semester. I also wouldn't have become part of a team that is currently developing a console specially made for people with motor disabilities. And my relationship with my boyfriend wouldn't have become as great as it currently is.
A hot woman flirting with me online, going to Mazatlan with my family and meeting new people. I don't know if this entirely fits, so remove it if it doesn't. Getting out of an abusive relationship. Moving alone to a new cities. Loving and making memories with some people. Meeting an amazing person I'm lucky to have.
Getting over a toxic relationship. Finding motivation to become a better and more motivated person overall. Been an interesting year.
Got a scientific article published, met the love of my life, ran my first marathon, and got into med school. The day-to-day has been much less glamorous, but when drudging on I try to remember the big things.
Meeting my girlfriend. Honestly considered ending it all a year ago, but obviously didn't go through with it. And of course, I met her lol.
Nothing. Every day is the same for me.
Literally nothing.
Getting my first brand new car. That's about it.
Meeting a wonderful woman, getting a job after 6 years unemployed, freeing myself from my toxic father.
The girl of my dreams falling in love with me once again. Also her breaking my heart again.
Actually nothing. A lot of bad stuff happens a year ago and my husband and I were devastated when we lost our child. I was 4 months pregnant. Lost our house because of depression and were homeless for a good couple of months.
An emotionally abusive relationship that some days made me want to take my life. Crippling debt. No beautiful things in the past 2 years, other than not taking my life.
My parents' divorce, me getting diagnosed with depression, my dog die, and the majority of my friends leaving me. Yeah, well, it has not been a good year for me. I just hope that 2020 changes something.
I would have missed out on seeing how everything that was bad in my life got resolved. A year ago, I had just begun changes in my life after being sexually assaulted and dealing with a horrific school bullying situation where the school didn't do anything for me. In 2019, I transferred schools to a school I'm really happy in. I've come really far in the emotional recovery from being sexually assaulted. I met some of the best people, made sure to surround myself only with the best people, left a job when it became a bad situation, and learned to not take myself too seriously and have fun. 2019 was a great year for change for me. 2018 was the year that created a lot of issues in my life that had to be resolved, and definitely still on the road of recovery. especially for the emotional trauma that was my old school and that bully, but it gets better.
Meeting a great boyfriend. Visiting Greece and Vienna. Graduating from a master's.
Nothing. I wouldn't have suffered one more year.
That kid as the storm Area 51 raid who Naruto ran past the reporter. Honestly, that made my year. Literally nothing happened in the last year of my life besides getting into more debt and becoming more depressed / anxious / suicidal.
Finding my mom dead from a heart attack. Oh wait, that's not beautiful at all.
I did actually try to kill myself just over a year ago. All I would have missed is more hopelessness and Umbrella Academy on Netflix. I really like that show.
Getting full custody of my kids and finding love again. Definitely not worth giving into those dark urges when I was at my lowest.
Nothing. Just nothing.
I would have never met my amazing girl who's shown me love and given me strength and hope.
Last few months with my dog.
I got to start physically transitioning. I'm trans, FTM, and I just started on testosterone a few months ago, and I'm getting a consult for top surgery soon. I feel light, for the first time in my life. Like my body is finally starting to fit.
This wonderful question, seriously, this is a very very good question. I would have missed out on having my son, seeing my daughter's first day of school. Those are the two most important events that have happened over the last year. There are heaps of good things that have happened and bad things, but if I wasn't around for my kids ... Well, I would like to finish this sentence, but the irony of saying I would die or regret it for the rest of my life seems too condescending and doesn't make any sense ... I would regret it for the rest of my afterlife if I had one. Plus Netflix has brought out some good shows and movies to watch.
So many things. Both big and small. I would have missed reconnecting with my sister, meeting one of my closest friends, and finally getting away from my abusive parents and home life.
My second daughter first day of school ... My GF and my mom both graduating from the same college ... My oldest daughter crashing in violin, my two youngest girls learning how to read and write.
My marching band experience, which is the only good thing I really have left.
Met my dream girl several months ago, becoming second place homecoming court and prom court, asking the first girl out ever and her saying yes, people accepting me for who I am, realizing I don't have to like everyone.
Traveling to Ireland, making a Reddit account, and meeting some great new friends.
Reconnecting with my daughter after amicably ending the marriage to her mother. Would be the big one. She wasn't even sure why I was around, but after moving out, my daughter got to see me happy and we've never been closer. More recently, falling into polyamory and feeling free to simply love in a way that finally feels natural to me. Life overall has simply felt worth living again since around April.
Shit, I'm not even sure. Not much has happened for me in that time period. It feels pretty stagnant looking back on it.
Miss out on spending time with my family. Family is very important and making them sad is not something I want to do. I would also missed out on traveling the world and miss out on massive stock gains. Last year was great.
Wow, shit, that question hit like a ton of bricks. Best thing to happen to me in the last year is my job, and that isn't even that great. Best job I've had yet, but I'm only 21, so not like there is a lot to choose from. Honestly, other than that I can't think of anything. Sure, we've had to deal with the depression and loneliness for a year less. That would have been something.
Honestly, not much. The past year for me has been one of my worst ever. But that doesn't mean next year can't be a good one. I just hope it is. I'm trying to make it good.
My dad died, so I guess I would have missed his funeral. I would miss this amazing second chance opportunity. She is the one, I'm positive.
Marrying the love of my life. I never intended to turn 28, but goddamn am I glad I did.
I would have missed out on an amazing job that I love going to every day and the chance to finally feel normal after having severe depression and anxiety for my entire life. Nothing, really. My cats passed away last year and I met someone, after almost 5 years of being single and heartbroken. But it ended really bad and now I don't only have more trust issues, but I'm also crawling for a meaningful relationship because I feel so fucking alone. but sadly I'm an introvert and indoor person. Smile, so not so good traits when you're tired of being alone, because I literally just exist and no one notice me. So yeah, killing myself last year would have saved me from a lot of pain. Meeting my friend Jeff.
I used to be suicidal, but this type of thing is exactly what keeps me from it. It may seem small, but looking forward to your next favorite book series, wanting to see how space travel advances. No matter how bad things are, I want to see these things. In the last year? Honestly? The Expanse. Discovered the show and immediately ordered every single one of the books. It's quickly become one of my favorite shows and novels of all time. If you're into science fiction and want a damn good story to distract you from whatever is happening in your life right now, this helped me a ton. https://2.b/ikescos7m.
I wouldn't have met the love of my life. I met him when I was a mess and he still fell in love with me. Been almost 2 years with him and I'm so thankful I kept fighting.
I would have missed movie Gian with my best friend, dating this amazing girl, and getting closer with my family.
Nothing really beautiful per day, as I'm still trying to figure my mental health out, but I would have missed seeing myself become a responsible, mature, and not constantly depressed person, and I'm so happy I've made it this far, and I plan on being here for as long as I can.
I can't think of a single thing truthfully. I wish I had taken it. I've tried 3 times now and I can't name a single thing in the last 5 years that was beautiful that I would have missed out on.
Accidentally going to second base with who's now my crush.
The coronavirus.
Thank you for watching. We publish amazing Reddit stories every day. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe to keep the dog smiling.